All right, so now we're going to do systems. That means more than one equation of inequalities, which means when we go to solve these, we don't get a single answer, but we get many numbers that will work. And so if we're graphing on the real XY plane, we'll be doing shading. Okay, so I'm going to try to solve the inequality. Negative x plus y is greater than negative 1, and x plus y is greater than 3. And we will graph the two lines that are represented and shade the proper part. So negative x plus y is greater than negative 1. Let's try to graph the line negative x plus y equals negative 1. You might want to turn this into slope-intercept form by adding x to both sides. And that's y is equal to x minus 1. Okay, I have a slope of 1 and a y-intercept of negative 1. So I'll graph the negative 1 and then I'll go up 1, right 1, and put a dot. And then I need to make a line, and that line is dashed because I don't have a equals under there. Can I get that pretty? That looks pretty good. And I'm thinking of graphing, let's see, so now I've got my x, negative x plus y is greater than negative 1. Let's see if I need to shade above or below. So I'm going to check 0, 0. I can check 0, 0 on this one. So is 0 plus 0 greater than negative 1? Why, yes, 0 is greater than negative 1. So we will shade the part that contains 0, 0. Let me see what kind of a good shading tool I've got here. I guess we'll shade smiley faces to be cheerful this morning. All right, let me graph the other inequality in shade. So we have x plus y is greater than 3. I think I'll graph this one with intercepts. This has an intercept of the x-intercept, make the y be 0. The x-intercept is 3. 1, 2, 3. To find the y-intercept, make x be 0. The y-intercept is 3. 1, 2, 3. Shade that one with a dashed or dotted line. And now I'm going to test the point 0, 0 on that line. Is 0 plus 0 greater than 3? No. So we don't shade 0, 0. Okay. So if I'm on the second line here. If I'm not shading the side with 0, 0, I'm shading up above here. And let me grab another cool shading. Let's do stars. So I'm going to shade above. Now, where is the shading that meets this system? It's where I have both stars and smiley faces. So my shading, let's just go for a good blackout shading, is going to be just that one that contains both. I don't think I can go back and erase oh yeah, I can. So I'm going to go back and erase the shading where not both of them happen to make it really clear which shading I'm talking about. Okay. All right, then let's try a word problem. Jenna spends at most 150 minutes a night on math and science homework. She spends at least 60 minutes on math. Write and solve a system of inequalities to model how she allots her time for these two subjects. If I'm going to solve this system of inequalities, I'm going to need to graph it. So if she spends at most 150 minutes a night on math and science, I'm going to set up one of my axes to be math. I'll just go the horizontal axis, doesn't matter. And the other axis to be science. And I'll abbreviate that M and S. And math, the number of minutes she spends on math, plus the number of minutes she spends on science is at most 150. What is that? Less than or equal to is at most. She spends at least 60 minutes on math. So at least is greater than or equal to 60. So let's see, I've got some pretty big numbers here, so maybe I'll go by tens on my graph. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 150, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 150. Okay. So for the first line, M plus S is less than 150. My M-intercept, make the S 0. My M-intercept is 150. My S-intercept, make the M 0. My S-intercept is 150. Make the line that connects those two. I'm going to make a solid line this time. And is 0, 0 included in this inequality? Is 0 plus 0 less than 150? So I'm going to shade below. But I'm just going to remember that I was shading below because I don't want my diagram to get too messed up at this point. Math is greater than or equal to 60. All right, so if I'm talking about the horizontal axis, if I have just the horizontal axis like x equals 60, that is a vertical line at 60. So my M greater than or equal to 60 gets to be a vertical line at 60 on the math. And is 0 included in this one? Is 0, 0 greater than 60? No, so I don't shade to the left. I shade to the right, and I shade under the first line, which means my shading, because it's about studying, it should be happy faces, is in that little triangle. And she's not going to study negative